He's gone. Oh, he's taken
While
umbrage.
he's lost his voice, I put the recording on. He's gone off in a huff now. And I've just to add to my woes, gentlemen, I've just had 45 minutes with HP. I've got this fabulous service called
The Source.
HP Instant. Very good, John. Very on the ball. Glad to see you back on the ball, mate.
Yes.
HP Instant Ink, which really actually works very well. You know, when your printer runs out, it's there ready for you. I think, oh, great. However, I've done the usual thing. My debit card has expired after its 2-year so they sent me an email. And so I click on the button to change anything. I can't log on. So I spent 40 minutes getting through to them. And they said, oh, well, we changed your username address because you've got 2 accounts here. I said, no, I haven't. I've only got
Spanish,
one. I've had 2 printers.
Indian.
One of the printers has broken, so I bought a new one. I'm beginning to regret it. Now, could you let me log on? Couldn't hack it. So I'm going back after this course.
Ian, I've had a week of Samsung customer support. I know how you feel.
There's a tune to that, isn't there?
Wow.
They're just hopeless.
There's a certain model of television which I will not mention on this semi-public channel.
Yes.
But if anyone wants to know what not to buy, what to avoid at all costs, I can tell you. Give me a ring.
Is it 2 initials, one L, the other G?
No.
Oh, sorry, LG.
Allegedly. No, but yeah.
But these customer services expect you to do things, first of all, online, chat room. And so you've got prescribed questions. That's not my question. You've given me the answer. You've given me all the right answers, but to all the wrong questions.
I've got all the right answers, but not necessarily in the right order.
Yeah. Chris, while I've got you there, could you send me the details of that auction house again, please? Because now I'm up and running 70%. I'm chasing up the issue I'd got earlier on with Cyril's photograph drawing. They've not responded to me at all.
Okay. Was this the one in Nottingham?
That's the one in Nottingham, yeah. If you wouldn't mind sending me the details.
If I could swing the camera around a bit.
Yeah.
Right. All the stuff I'm taking for sale, I'm taking this week to that man.
Right.
So, what a mess. So what I'll do is I'll tell him that who you are, etc., and I'll send you the details. Yeah, fine.
Is that cheaper than Keith's loft?
Well, what's happened is the loft is getting a trifle full. So there is quite a lot of stuff being prepared. I would say a week's worth of effort. So the thing about memorabilia, you have to pack it up and label it and prove that it's real, and it's not. It's like everything. It's not dead simple.
No.
But I'm doing a thing here this morning for a Joe Root bat. But having got the bat, which is quite a big effort.
Like a Pippi Stroll, but better.
What? Sorry.
About like that or about like that?
About like that. You then have to package it and anyway, it's enjoyable stuff.
Anyway, if you wouldn't mind mentioning him, and
I will, and I'll send you the details. Yeah.
Thank you. You're
okay, mate.
Right. I think we should have a Victor Meldrew moment every session, Keith.
Definitely. Keith's been doing some amazing mimes. Yeah.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We should all do that. We should all do that back. We should all do that back.
Yeah. So you can hear me now.
Stand up again.
I'll sit as ever.
Right. Before we go any further, we've got a new member for our team.
Half for one.
Well, half for one. Trevor.
Hello there. George your chin, Trevor.
Trevor, show us your face.
Show us your chin.
Trevor.
Oh, yes, Trevor, yes.
Better before.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Don't just switch it off now.
Yes, please. Yeah, turn the
It's
picture off.
not a pretty slot, is it?
Have you seen the rest of it?
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Yes.
John, you'll be in tune with Trevor because he supports the dark side.
Does he?
good.
Yeah. What,
That's-
Leeds?
Oh,
The reason I was late
Yeah,
coming
you
on was
Yeah.
there's a certain word that's used as a passcode.
Exactly, Trevor.
I had to think of Newcastle, Manchester, and Maidstone before I could
Yeah.
get.
Exactly. I had words about that the first week you used that, Trevor.
It's the second best team in Sheffield, Trevor.
Really?
Yeah.
Good
After
club
United
league.
Reserves or United Ladies.
Well, whatever. 4,000 at Bramall Lane last week.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Record
Yeah.
crowd. Was
You're
the
right,
Keith?
Peter. Good goal
Was
by
the-
Salah last weekend, wasn't it, mate? Liverpool played well, didn't they? Great stuff.
I'm going back to the lane when they bring cricket back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully next year.
Right. And just to, the only thing I know about Trevor, well, a couple of things is Trevor is chairman of the bowling club.
That's right. Yeah, Orange End Park.
Underarm.
Park Bowling Club. And Trevor used to be a football league referee.
Football
Oh.
league
Don't make
linesman.
you a bad person, though, does it?
Lino. So
But
I
a
don't-
long
I don't-
time ago, when they used to play football.
Yeah.
You know.
So Trevor was obviously the one getting all the abuse on the line from whoever was nearest to him.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, used to go to Bury and Rochdale and places like that and really be entertained for 90 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
People used to follow you up and down the terrace sort of thing, shouting at you, you know.
And that-
No wonder
that
you
was
don't want
only
to show
Neil
your
Warnock.
face, Trevor.
Sorry, say again.
No wonder you don't want to show your face, mate. We can't see you. Go down the way.
Calm
Trevor,
down
we
again,
can-
Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
Sit
him
on a
there.
box.
I'm trying
That's
your best.
better. Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
I recognise you now, yes, so and so.
You put your flag up when United should have scored. I remember you,
Flag
Trevor.
down.
Well, strangely
what you're doing.
strangely enough, I was a linesman at Seth Colwell's testimonial.
Oh, I did see you.
Fancy that.
All right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we got Keith Hackett, myself, and John Kirkby, ranked
Oh,
Wednesday nights, all officiating the match.
Hold on.
We drew 1-1, and John, my mate, flagged for an offside against Wednesday just so Seth Colwell wouldn't lose. And it broke his heart. Broke his heart because he wasn't offside. He just disallowed the goal, you know. So
This is
really,
corruption at every level for ages.
Corruption everywhere.
those
And
were,
quite right too.
Quite right, too.
Well, you're in good company now.
Okay. So
Not more corrupt.
yeah, Trevor, just for your benefit, the meetings usually follow a similar sort of flow, where John tells us a bit about any news of other members of the group that he's aware of, and then once he's finished rambling on, with
You get swank.
we then move on to Dave the Beard, who tells us about the news of the week, and then
rambles on.
Football or sports news, that is.
and sports news of the week, and then it's a free for all after that. But
Time to go.
there'll be a free for all before, during, and after. That's for certain. So
okay.
if you hear of anything that you like or you can contribute to, just stick your hand up like that, and I'll get you in there.
Ignore you.
Lovely. Okay. Thanks very much.
You could put a flag up.
Yeah, put a flag up. Yeah.
Flag up, Trevor. Lots of wear.
Yeah. Right, John Douglas. let's-
Yeah, just a bit about Seth Caldwell. I mean, his was the first football picture card I ever got when I first started collecting, when I was about 5 or something like that. A Sess Colwell one. Right. And I was at the testimonial as well. I know Chris would have been, and probably Keith. Yeah. Good servant. Well. Good servant.
Yeah. Was he Crystal Peaks or Man at Top, John?
Pardon?
Was he Crystal Peaks or Man at Top?
Man at Top.
Oh, right.
Like this weekly bulletin, it's a bit like a MASH report, and I mean Mobile Army Surgical Hospital every week. And well, anyway, Brian the Tie's got COVID.
Oh,
yeah. Chris Wright from Manor, his wife's got COVID.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Richard has just got a very heavy cold and he's losing his voice. He phoned me yesterday, but had to hang up because he couldn't even hear himself.
Could he pass it on to Ian?
Yeah. Pardon? Cyril is having a brain scan this week. Yeah. Little Dave from Intake, his wife's having the results of her brain scan this week. And Mick's wife was admitted to hospital yesterday with dizziness and chest pains. And I'm going to give a blood sample this afternoon. So should we call it a medical report or what? I mean, years ago it had been like Keith scored a goal last Tuesday and Chris scored a nice 50 and things like that. Now it's a hospital report.
Yeah, shows your scars.
Shows you. Well, if you want to.
Oh no!
Anyway, that's your lot. I'm afraid it's not happy reading, but or even listening. But there you go.
Any news on Big Paul?
No update this week. I'm trying to avoid contacting his brother more frequently than maybe once a fortnight. See how he is. So, but we've had nothing further from them. Trevor, just to explain, one of our members fell over running for the tram and is finished in hospital and he's at the moment he's paralysed from the neck downwards.
Oh, great.
And that's Big Paul. So just a freak accident.
Right.
Right. So without further ado, we'll move on to Dave's News of the Week.
News of the week. Yeah, it's up to you to lift the mood, Dave. Hit us with something jolly.
Are you ready, Ian? Starting with rugby league.
Big lad.
And the grand final between the Catalans, Dragons and St. Helens. Dragons scoring first, but went in at half-time 6-4 down. But within 6 minutes into the second half, the first sin bin of the grand final took place. Tommy Mackinson for a high tackle, which could have seen him given a red card, as it prevented the Dragons winger Yaha scoring a try. Not only didn't he get a red card, but Dragons were also refused a penalty try. One of a couple of decisions that went against them, so they say. They did manage to score a converted try to lead 10-6, but the Saints held on and in the 66 minutes scored a converted try themselves to lead by 12 points to 10, and that's how it finished. The Saints, with that victory, became only the second side to win 3 Super League titles on the trot. First question, who were the first?
Wigan?
No.
Leeds?
Leeds Rhinos.
Dirty Leeds
Can you say that? Can you say that?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Dirty
Rhinos.
Yeah.
2007, 8 and 9.
Trevor, I don't know if you're in tune with this, but we know most of us know Leeds as Dirty Leeds.
Yes, very good, very good. I agree with that.
Thank you, Trevor. You're welcome.
You'll do for me, Trevor. You'll do for me, mate.
It'll do.
Dave. One of the funniest things at that cup final match, Saints, was the Saints try scorer was Kevin. Second name begins with N. He's a Fijian. And when he went over the line in the second half for a second try, he banged his head. So he was removed for an HIA, which he obviously got through because they later showed him on his exercise bike warming up to come back on again, as you're allowed to do in rugby league. Anyway, the funny thing was that towards the end of the match, St. Helens kicker did a 40-20, and which is apparently something quite good. And the Catalans fullback went to catch it, fumbled it into touch, which with only a few minutes to go excited all the Saints fans and what have you. And they panned back onto this Kevin guy on his bike. And he's so excited and agitated. He's suddenly going at 100 miles an hour. and the pundit says, and there's Kevin keeping the floodlights going.
Very good.
Good one.
Good.
Long Rugby League, the St. Helens women's team made it a double celebration by beating last year's champions Leeds.
I'm sorry.
28 points to 0 in the women's Super League Grand Final. They became the first team to complete the treble as the Saints women added the overall title to the League Leaders' Shield and the Challenge Cup. In the championship,
Dave, who was the other team to complete the treble?
It was in the men's.
In the men's.
Leeds Rhino.
Oh, I thought you said there were 3.
I thought you said 3.
Pay attention, Keith. Come on, keep up.
No, I don't think.
No, he said the other one that did it 3 times.
3 others.
Right.
Not 3 others that did it twice. Do buck up, Birmingham. You're suffering more from Morecambe, you know, you're using all the right words, but not necessarily in the right order.
Apologies if I misled you there. No.
Sorry, Dave.
In the championship, Toulouse won the championship playoff, beating Featherstone 34-12, winning promotion to the Super League and becoming the second French side in the league. Boxing, hailed as one of the greatest heavyweight fights of all time, the third meeting between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder saw Fury retain his WBC title. Fury had the first knockdown in the 3rd round, but Wilder turned the fight around in the 4th, putting Fury down on the deck twice. Fury eventually regained the upper hand and put Wilder down for a second time in the 10th. Then in the 11th, a flurry of punches saw Wilder on the canvas for a 3rd and final time, and Fury retained his title.
Did anybody see that at all?
No.
I just caught the highlights on the news, and Fury looked like the fat bloke who sits down at the pub drinking pints all day.
He is.
That's right.
He is.
It didn't look like anything like an athlete. He seemed to have got ripples of fat, but he didn't half give him a clout when he knocked him out.
He's come down from 28 stone.
I've been trying to find the highlights, Keith. BT got all the rights and it's pay-per-view, which I detest. But I don't know.
It was on the news. So if you have a look on YouTube, you might find it on YouTube.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You could just see him fighting John L. Sullivan.
That when Fury put Wilder down, how the heck he got up from that punch, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's
Well, he's
come
a
down
bowler,
from
really,
28
isn't he?
stone, Fury, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
To
Yeah.
his fighting weight.
He's a bare knuckle fighter, isn't he? He's like John L. Sullivan. Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
I mean, one of the punches that Fury went down from, the guy actually hit him on the top of the head here. So I'm not quite sure who it did most damage to. the hit.
Broke his hand.
Well, Wilder broke his hand, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
I'll bet it was that punch because he got him right on the, right on the solid part on the top, and the Fury went down from it, but soon go. Well, anyway,
it's funny, isn't it? You've got all these sports that as soon as they get the heads touched, they don't go off for an HIA. Then you've got these two brawlers knocking 6 bells out of each other.
Yeah.
That's why such as boxing, be getting very concerned about all the furore over the players' head injuries. So
it's strange, I think, isn't it, that in football we're trying not to head the ball anymore, and in boxing we're trying to knock somebody's head off. There seems to be a difference. I don't know how many boxers are suffering from dementia. All I hear at the moment is how many footballers are. I'm going to say every boxer that's boxed ought to be suffering from dementia, looking at some of the punches going in, and you get 12 rounds, 30 odd minutes of people hitting you on the head.
If you understand me, Trevor, I think it's difficult to detect any change with boxers.
Yeah. But I wondered why, and I haven't seen a punch at all of this fight, unfortunately, but I wonder why people are calling it one of the greatest fights ever. Is it because both fighters got knocked down a couple of times, or was there a real element of boxing, of skillful boxing in it?
I think it's because they both went down at different times, and they both fought back from being knocked down. So.
It was quite grueling, apparently. A bit like St. Helens in the rugby league final. I mean, those two sports, those two events were grueling by all accounts. The St. Helens one, they never stopped tackling. 80 minutes, bang, bang, bang.
Grueling as watching Wednesday first half.
I banged feet in front of me.
Did you know in American football you can get penalised for personal fouls? I wondered what they meant. I'm pushing you and nobody else but you.
You're too good at that, Ian.
Personal foul. Sorry?
You're too good at that. Have you thought of doing pantomime?
Oh, yes. Chase me, chase.
Look out, he's behind you.
Oh, no, he hasn't. Right. Okay, Dave, sorry.
Over in Liverpool, Liam Smith beat Anthony Fowler by a knockout in the 8th round to win the WBA Super Welterweight International title. And finally on boxing, Anthony Joshua has triggered a rematch clause with Usyk. The fight could take place in March next year. Formula One, despite recording the fastest lap in qualifying, Lewis Hamilton started the Turkish Grand Prix 11th on the grid due to a 10-place penalty for a change of engine. The race was won by Hamilton's teammate Bottas, with Max Verstappen finishing second. Hamilton, who looked on course to finish third, but a late change of tyres saw him drop to fifth, from which he did not recover. Third would have kept Hamilton just 1 point behind Verstappen, but the loss of 2 places left him 6 points adrift. And only time will tell if that 5 points lost will cost him the title.
He was not a happy man. On the radio, it was Lewis, box, box, box. No. 2 laps later, he was boxed, changed his tyres, and apparently these intermediates, they go through a grainy patch. So they're very good to start with. Then they go through what they call graining, and they lose the grip. And then they actually come good again. And of course, his, because he had his changed too late, his were grainy just at the point he wanted to make a charge to get back to third place. So his team are probably having a debrief with him as we speak.
They seem to make a lot of mistakes, don't they?
They do. But the one thing they said, they've got these computers. First of all, there's two sort of unwritten,
Samsung.
X81 unwritten codes. One, if the rain is arriving, it's down to the computer and the team to say box, box, box. But if the rain is going and therefore the track is drying out, it's up to the driver to say, I want a box to change the tires for a dry condition. And apparently what they reckon was the computery that Mercedes were doing hadn't allowed for the fact that intermediates go through this 3 or 4 laps of graining, 2 or 3 laps after they've been put on. And so they miscalculated how much time they had left to get the value. Big schoolboy error. The money involved.
I must remember to change my tyres if it's raining before I go out in the car.
CVT garage.
I can see you down at Quick Fix, Peter. What about these tyres?
5 seconds.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Right.
Come on, Dave, got to move on.
Sorry. Football in the World Cup qualifiers, easy win for England over Andorra by 40 goals to 0. Win keeps them 4 points clear of Albania in second and 5 clear of Poland in third.
Weren't they
played Hungary tonight at Wembley.
Scotland
beats Israel.
Rubbish. The opposition.
Oh, they were
I
shocking.
don't think I've ever seen such a poor opposition in a World Cup match.
I thought they were good for rabbits. Oh, that's Angola. Sorry.
These matches, they're terrible, aren't they? I mean, look at England's group, Albania in second place. It's just a money-making machine.
You're only
any country that worships Norman wisdom can't be bad.
You're only saying that now, Keith, because we've got a reasonably good squad. But 5 years ago, we'd have been glad of it.
Well, I suppose so, but I just think it's, you've got to look at all the groups and you know who's going to get through from all the groups. The others are just...
Not going to be many surprises, are there?
No.
So how does it interface with this other thing that France have won?
Yeah. An offside goal.
That's UEFA's competition.
Yeah, but
Nations League.
That's proper Europe, is it?
Yeah, but there's something about this Nations League that gives an automatic qualification for the World Cup, apparently.
I thought so, yeah.
Wales have got that automatic qualification for the playoffs.
I think it gets them a seeding, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I'm sure I read it yesterday that where Wales are already guaranteed a World Cup playoff place, but they're still trying to finish second in their group because that gives them a better seeding, if you like, in these playoffs.
Right.
So it's money making. That's all it is. Anyway,
It's good to see the ladies' team had a reasonable game between them.
what's that?
The referee and the 2 linesmen, the ladies' team on the
All
park.
right. Yeah.
I thought there were a few decisions that are a bit questionable, particularly bookings.
When are there not decisions that are questionable?
Yeah. But the bookings were a bit strange.
Well, you just heard that English players can't keep the cool as normal.
Yeah.
Well, that referee was having a go. She was standing no nonsense.
Yeah, quite right too.
Did anybody see the sending off for delaying the game the other day? Was it the Irish player? It was, wasn't it? Northern Ireland. Delaying the game for not taking the throw-in quickly enough. And we could do with 1 or 2 more of those in Football League. You know, letting the goalkeeper take 30 seconds holding the ball instead of 6 and things like that. So I'm hoping there might be a little bit of a new wave coming in, what with lady referees and foreign referees taking more account of keeping the ball in play.
Yeah,
It might be improving a bit.
I do have some sympathy for the Northern Irish, though. I mean, if you have too long a gap in the game, you've got to retrain them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's racist.
But
No, that's fact.
Nice one, Ian.
yeah. Well, I mean, we actually broached a similar subject. Dave will confirm this. We were at the Sheffield Referees Association meeting the other week when Martin Atkinson was the speaker, and I raised that question about goalkeepers taking too long, and they only seem to get booked in the last 2 minutes. And he said, he was quite open and said, if I want to stay in my job, I'm never going to send a goalkeeper off for yellow cards for time wasting.
Why not?
So
Sad, very sad.
it's the dog, it's the tail wagging the dog in this.
Yeah.
So, as much as I would like to think that they're going to do something different, in this country they won't, because they're looking after their own personal jobs rather than enforcing the rules of the game. But yeah, I do think though the Northern Irish bloke was unlucky to be sent off. I think the referee perhaps should have gone up to him and said, come on, this is your final warning, you're taking too long with the throw-in. But what we don't know is whether he'd already said that to him previously.
Yeah.
Reading the report, Keith, he did. Not particularly to him, but he'd warned 3 times, I think, Northern Ireland players. Now,
Right.
that was early, wasn't it? Because it was in, 38th minute, I think, and he'd already spoken to them several times, which seemed a bit strange that they were doing that early on. At watching it, I was just getting the feeling you ought to have thrown it by now. You ought to have thrown it by now. And 5 seconds later, he brought out the card. You know, so I felt a little bit uneasy about the length of time they were taking, but it was quite refreshing to see somebody make a decision like that. Whether it improved the game afterwards, don't know. Didn't see the rest of the game, of course, only the highlights.
Trev, when you watch the game now, do you still have a little flag in front of the TV and wave it?
What I do is I have all sorts of expletives arranged in order that I can use. I started refereeing at the age of 19 because I thought the referees on the Football League were absolutely rubbish, and I knew I could do better. And when I started refereeing, I found out what it was like. After I'd finished refereeing, I sit there and think I can do a lot better than that. You know, it's a very strange. I don't know whether David feels the same, but it's a very strange situation to be in, really.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, I didn't visit the dizzy heights that Trevor did, but nevertheless, at Northern Counties East level, you know, it was a different kettle of fish to the local park.
Yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. But you have to adapt to those circumstances, don't you? I have a feeling that some of the Premier League referees will be absolutely hopeless in Parks football because nobody will understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's very true, that. Right, we're less than a minute to go, chaps. So, Ian, I made you the host while I had to go off to get my computer sorted. So, if you'd like to wrap it up, and then and then I'll be back for the second part. So,
if I don't,
in 5 minutes.
If I don't wrap it up, does that mean you'll get charged? Let's keep it going for a little longer, guys. See you in 5 minutes, guys.
Steve, thank you.